We are back again. We are back again. What's up, Earth Goddess Gang? Welcome back to Earth Goddess TV. For new followers, welcome, welcome. Um, you've joined just in time for the new Gemini Through the House series. I did make a video previously before, basically explaining my year hiatus and break. So if you want to go check it out before you check out the rest of the Gemini Through the House series, please make sure to do so. But without further ado, family, I did promise you all these videos. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So now I believe we are in Gemini season. Yes, we are in Gemini season. Um, Gemini's, it is air, it is mutable energy, it is the third house ruler of communication. Also ruled by the planet Mercury, also known as the communicator planet, with the two little satellite dishes above, like the little circle head. So when you think about the Gemini energy is all mental. They're not really an emotional sign. It is air, and it is mutable. So you have to keep this in mind with the Gemini energy, and just remember this archetype throughout the 12 houses. So Geminis are definitely twin energy. Within this twin energy, you have one part of the Gemini which is very social, very outgoing, loves to socialize with people, loves to be around people, sometimes a life of the party. Then you also have your Geminis that are the other part of their brain, which is very intellectual. And basically, the rabbit hole goes deep with the Gemini's mind, because they can think and then think some more. So this can lead them basically to overthinking. Basically, like their mental part of them is like on steroids, because there's one part of them that's social and loves socializing and being around people. Then you have the other part of them that's like just mental stimulation 24/7. Their mind goes into more rabbit holes, into more rabbit holes, into more rabbit holes, which is basically thinking on steroids. So let's jump into Gemini in the first house. So Gemini in the first house, basically they have good hand and eye coordination, because you're dealing with that communicator sign, and it's also mutable. And it helps because um, say they're playing sports or anything physical, that good hand and eye coordination could really suit them well. So here in the first house placement, they do have really good hand and eye coordination. And just to jump into a little bit what the first house represents, is basically your personality, your physical body, basically your personality, and how basically you show up and present yourself to the outside world. So Gemini here, of course, they're very intellectual, they're very social. Gemini here in the first house, they have the need here to basically definitely express themselves. They will definitely do this on an intellectual level by being like charming, flirting, or maybe rather through like debates, or if physically. I notice with a lot of Geminis, not all Geminis, it also depends on other placements as well, but Geminis have a unique look. They have it's in their eyes. They either have like either uniquely shaped eyes or uniquely placed eyes. So they can have eyes that are like far apart, kind of bug shaped, kind of close together. I've noticed that with some Geminis, they have like a different look with their eyes. So that I could say that they have unique facial features. And this is not all Geminis. This is some of the features that play off in some of the Geminis that I've ran across, that I've dealt with, and that I actually see. Now, it's not all Geminis. So also too, also what I love about Gemini, say like if they're in a social setting and they're not really like familiar with the crowd or the people, they have this ability to, and people sleep on air signs when it comes to intuition. Gemini don't sleep on them, because they're very intuitive, believe it or not, because they have that double twin energy going on. So you have on one part of them that's social, then you have the other part where basically they're overthinking, but they're also using their intuition to say, they go in a room crowded full of people, and they want to kind of know how they should act, or kind of vibe with the people in the room. They'll study the room and the energy in the room before they engage, and based off that interaction or observation, rather, they would kind of like match their energy to match that. So they're matching the energy that's already presently there. So Geminis are very good at that. A lot of people do not give them the credit they deserve when it comes to being intuitive like that, because a lot of the time, some people don't have that ability to go basically in a room, excuse me, y'all, full of people they don't know, and is able to read the room like that and adjust themselves on the emotional level to fit the energy in the room. I am tilting everywhere. Okay. Hopefully that stays. I had to get it together. So I'm trying to be comfortable too, because I'd be like propped up making these videos. Also too, Geminis in the first house can be very good at like physical activity, physical sports like basketball, football, anything dealing with good hand and eye coordination, because it's the twin energy, of course. I don't know too many Geminis that have like bad hand and eye coordination. So it kind of works out to their favor. Also too, people don't like to really give Geminis their credit, but depending on other placements as well, Geminis can have them hands now. Don't run up on a Gemini with a lot of Gemini placements. You're going to get boxed up. Now, it's not to say that, all Geminis got hands. Of course, it also depends on what else is in the chart. But again, that falls into the good hand and eye coordination. So they're a little bit better at physical activities because they have, those two minds working together. So also what I want to get into is some negative aspects within a Gemini within the first house. Now, within the first house, we're still talking about, their personality, the body, the physical body, the self-expression. Also, too, what I wanted to mention, I also forgot, the fashion sense. How Geminis say express themselves through fashion. Now, I've seen Gemini go two ways. You have Geminis who are really into fashion. They're really into like the high fashion with the cutouts, the prints, the funky colors, the shapes. Kanye West, perfect example. So you have Geminis who are like really into high fashion, and those what people consider like weird, like fashion sense. Also, you have Geminis who are like beauty queens too. They follow the fashion trends. They're making sure everything's neat, everything's in place. So I've seen Gemini go two ways here, to where they can be really into the odd, different high fashion, or they can be glamorous as well. Also too, I forgot to mention this. I see also too on, I wouldn't say negative. I kind of hate to use that word, but say like if the Gemini is not very fashion forward, you'll see them wear things that are, you can tell like in their appearance they really don't care about the items they've put together, the colors they're put together, because again, Gemini is not really a sign. It can be a sign that's not really too pressed about fashion or how they look. They're more intellectual and basically how they put out that energy in the world versus how they look. But again, this also depends on what else is aspected in the chart, because you have some Geminis who are very into fashion and that are very fashionable. So again, they can be either way when it comes to fashion. So keep that in mind as well. Back to some of the negative points in the first house with Gemini here. They can be a little self-centered. They can be a little arrogant. Again, depending on what else is aspected. They could be very self-centered. Just due to that mental energy of, being social, and also wanting kind of to be like that center of attention, wanting people to know, okay, this is me, I'm here, I'm right, listen to what I have to say. Also, to another negative aspect within Gemini here, they can be scatterbrained. They could be a little bit fickle and flighty in their energy, simply due to maybe being overwhelmed, having too many things going on. So that energy will jump on them like a disease, especially the fickle, scatterbrained energy. They're all over the place. Also, what I've heard people mention about Gemini, And at first, when I first used to hear this, I really didn't understand it. But just being around more, having the opportunity to be around more Geminis, I can kind of see why people would say this. Some people would consider Geminis as coming off as a little bit superficial, um, or fake, or I guess gossipy. And now that I understand that the Gemini energy better, depending on what's aspected, this very well could ring true. But also too, the Gemini don't see it that way. They see it as, okay, if I have someone that's around me that I'm not really sure of or that I don't like, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to everyone I know, gather information, and once I gather that information, then I'll make that determination on how I should feel about that person, or if I would even choose to acknowledge that person. So that's kind of how the Gemini energy works, and that's how they can kind of earn the name of being two-faced. So instead of actually approaching the person that they have the issue with, they will probably go around into outside sources to gather information to see if what they're feeling on an internal level is true, then possibly go for that person, or they may just not never do it. And that's how people may feel like, okay, well, you're two-faced, because you know this person doesn't like you, but you're still going behind their back, talking about them. You may possibly even be nice, and just like have that fake false, like get along, play along energy while you're around this person, because you're not really sure, if what you're feeling on an internal level, I guess, is really true. So that's how they can earn that two-faced kind of thing going on there. Now, also, depending on what else is aspected, Geminis can be gossipy. So you have to be careful with that. That goes along with me when I was saying where they would go to different people and get different stories and observations, and you have to be careful with that if you do have the Gemini here in the first house, because it can come off as gossipy. And you know how it works with gossip. You start off with one thing, and by the time it gets to the last person you told, it's not even what you originally told the person. So Gemini is here in the first house. You definitely want to be mindful of that. Now, I can also say here too, when it comes to people feel that sometimes Gemini can't be the most loyal, but I wouldn't say the most loyal. It's just they're not the best with remembering like dates or being on time to certain things. So you want to cut Gemini a little bit of slack here, and I wouldn't say, harp too much on their personality, and they'll pretty much show you these signs early on about them. And I wouldn't take it too personal. I feel if the Gemini is important to you, and the person and the Gemini feels like you're important, they'll either correct the behavior and be mindful, this is something that's important to the person, that whoever they're dealing with. That's only if that relationship is important to that Gemini. Other than that, that is my take on a Gemini in the first house. If you do have a Gemini in the first house, make sure you jump down in the comments below to let me know your experiences with this placement, or if you know anybody with this placement. And that is it for my video with Gemini in the first house, family. And I will see you in the second house of Gemini.